Olá, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream YouTube channel and podcast. Let me be the first to wish you a bon fin de semana. And that, of course, is part of our vocabulary for today. We are introducing more Portuguese vocabulary, and I'm delighted to say we have Sara Cruz with us a little bit later after the weather. Not actually, very soon after the weather. And hopefully Sara will be able to, as well as tell us all about Go Walks tours of Coimbra and the surrounding area, help us with our learning of the Portuguese language as well. How are you this morning? Fridays are always a little bit challenging for me because it's the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club the night before. And there's something about fizzy wine, isn't there, that changes your state. Let me put it that way. And we tried the red fizz, which divided people, or did it? I think it actually, in many ways, united people in their difficulty in grasping such an unusual concept. It wasn't until I came to Portugal that I tried red espumante, the red fizzy wine that is traditionally served with suckling pig. I think Sara will have something to say about that because I know she tours the Barada region as well. Before the wine club, and we did have a lot of fun. And those wine ninjas, I think they carried on talking. I left them to it, and they carried on drinking and talking. I think possibly into the wee small hours. Before that, it was great to talk with Peter van Noonen of Enjoy Portugal. That was an Expats Portugal webinar, the Portugal Calling series that we did with Peter, a second one with Peter, talking about all aspects of renting and buying in Portugal. He's your man, enjoy-portugal.com. Tell him I sent you. He's an advocate, a supporter, a helper, your cheerleader, really, in moving to Portugal. Great guy. And we worked him really hard for an hour, quizzing him on all aspects of renting and buying. So a lovely evening last night, a little bit fragile this morning, as I think some people are also, as we can see in the comments. Yes, Tony, she was there in the wine club. Hola, bon dia. Slightly slow this morning. Yeah, I'm not surprised. How's Henry? Hola, bon dia. Grey here today on the in the south of England. We will, of course, talk about the quarantine situation with the UK later on. I'll just share with you now the Portuguese Palavra do Dia today, and I'll be testing you about yesterday's as well. So I'm serious, about us learning the language, and I'm going to give you a little bit of vocab every day, as well as recommending resources. I know a lot of people have signed up now with Mia Esmires of the European Portuguese Learn-Portuguese.org. So good on you for doing that. And I think we've probably got a group coming together, haven't we? An online group of people who are foreigners who are learning Portuguese, which would be a great thing to do. Okay, so quick look at the weather before we talk to Sara, and just turn that ticker tape off for just 1 minute and tell you about the weather in the capital right now. I did say, didn't I, that we're looking forward to a week of great weather, really, in this turn from verão to outono. Those were yesterday's words, everybody. I was going to test you on those, just in case you missed that, so that we are committing this to memory. What are the Portuguese words for summer and autumn? Pop them in the comments so I know that you're learning something. Lisbon, 21 degrees and sunny at the moment. Rising to 32 today, 31 tomorrow, 31 on Sunday. So a lovely weekend in the capital. In Porto, 20 degrees and clear at the moment. And it will be 26, 26 and 28 respectively as you go into the weekend. So a lovely weekend in Porto as well. No cloud returning anywhere, it would seem, until the middle of next week, which is fantastic. In Coimbra, where Sara is this morning, 20 degrees. When we did our quick check, our sound check before going live today, the sun was already streaming into Sara's room and where she's broadcasting from, and it was already very bright. It will be 33 degrees there, similar temperatures to those that we enjoy here at the Good Morning Portugal HQ. 32 on Saturday, 34 on Sunday, and no cloud until the middle of next week. Fantastic. Faro is 24 degrees at the moment. 28 is the high today, 28 tomorrow, and 27 on Sunday. And again, no clouds in the sky until the middle of next week. And that, of course, can change because it's the weather. Okay, let us go now then. Let's bring Sara onto the screen and say hola, bon dia to you. Sara Cruz of Go Walks. How are you today?
Hello, buen dia. How are you? I'm fine, thank you.
Great.
It's nice and shiny.
You are sort of evidence there, aren't you, of the Coimbra weather streaming through your windows there. We have the website to share with you. Dreams of traveling will soon come true. Go Walks Portugal. Could you tell us the basic idea of what you're doing here, Sarah? And welcome to Good Morning Portugal this morning.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me, obviously. So yeah, I started doing guided tours in Coimbra in 2012. And I was just a baby by then. But I wanted to show the city to people and the things that I loved. So I started doing 2 guided tours in the city center. One that would visit the historical area and the university, and the other one that would visit the riverside and the left bank of the river. But then soon people started asking me other things, like gastronomic tours, like Jewish themed tours. And so I decided to create other routes. I'm obviously very passionate about many different things in Portugal, but mostly heritage, in our culture. So I did a Fado tour because I also worked in a Fado association before starting the company. And then I started with the gastronomic tour, and I did the rest of the tours. Fortunately, 1 year after, Coimbra became a World Heritage City, classified by UNESCO. So it was a good timing, and I changed the name of the tour to World Heritage and University Tour of Coimbra. And those are the ones you can see on the screen right now. They're most of them are walking tours, but I have one that I used a vehicle. Unfortunately, it's not yet an electric vehicle. But yeah, it's the Coimbra Under the Moonlight, which I drive around the city for panoramic views to the town. So usually people are surprised because they don't have the notion that Coimbra is quite big, actually. Yeah, and then I have tours out of Coimbra as well.
Yes, we'll talk about those in a little while, because I'm, as somebody who lives in the Barada region, I'm very excited and also a little bit upset that people don't know it better. And I guess that's the case for a lot of Portuguese places, isn't it? Some really well kept secrets. But this is the town of your birth as well, right?
I am from Coimbra. Yes, I was born here, so I'm a Conimbricense. That should be a word you you should put like a challenge.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you say it one more time before I have a go at it?
Conimbricense.
Conimbricense.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, because there is Coimbra and Conimbria as well, isn't there?
Yeah, so Coimbra is really close to Coimbra. It's like 15 minutes drive from here.
Yeah.
17 kilometers, I think. And it's one of the most impressive Roman towns of Portugal. It's really well preserved. For those who haven't visited, you should definitely go there. And now near Coimbra, there is also in Condeixa, which is kind of the main village near Coimbra. There is a museum that opened a few years ago called Porus. And it's really great. You will learn a lot about Coimbra, how it developed. They have videos of how the city used to look like in Roman times as well. And so it's really, really amazing. And that's where our name comes from, Conimbricense. So you made the connection there.
Conimbricense. Okay, everybody, I want you to write that down so you remember it. Maybe pop it in the comments. But that's very useful to us, Sarah. We're doing our best to learn here. What a lovely selection of tours you have there. The Scavengers Hunt of Coimbra. Coimbra Under the Moonlight, as you mentioned. Food tour, that's always going to be a popular one, isn't it? And the downtown and the city market. Oh, look at this. Riverside and Tales of Love. I want to do that already. UNESCO World Heritage and University of Coimbra. I guess that's your kind of top level tour, isn't it? Your signature tour, perhaps. UNESCO World Heritage, Jewish History of Coimbra, which people may not know about, and Fado of Coimbra. What was your connection with the Fado Association? Are you a performer or in the admin?
No, I was working there in the main room. So I was helping organizing the shows. I was helping promoting Fado ao Centro as well, because this is an association that started in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So about 1 year before I started the tours. So they were promoting Fado of Coimbra. Lots of people didn't know that there were two kinds of Fado. They thought it was the same as Fado of Lisbon, and there are major differences between both of them. And so I was just doing that. Sorry, I love music. So I also sing. I'm a singer, but I don't sing Fado, although I can do it, obviously. But in general, it was just because I was really passionate about the city and the opportunity showed up. I did my internship there. And when the internship was about to end, I already had plans to do guided tours, because we didn't have walking tours in Coimbra. We had tour guides that would welcome groups and organize some private tours, but there weren't theme tours in the city yet. And so they exist already in other cities, in Lisbon and Porto and so on. So I really wanted to do that. I just wanted to promote the city as best as I could. So it was a challenge at the time, an economical challenge, because I was really young. I didn't know what I was doing, like managing the company.
Oh,
I'm still trying to figure that out.
yeah, I think that's the truth, isn't it, behind any entrepreneur or business owner? Because it's all about the idea and the passion, essentially, isn't it? And then you have to learn all that other stuff as well, which you've obviously done and are succeeding in. And congratulations to you. I mean, a company that lasts this long is a success in its own way, isn't it? After 8 years, so fantastic. You mentioned there the distinction between Lisboa Fado and the Fado of Coimbra, or Coimbra. Yeah, but I was trying to say the Conimbricense.
Conimbricense. Yes.
Oh, so sorry. We'll get there in the end. So, what is the difference? And presumably, Amalia, who we've talked about on the show here, is the Queen of Fado, and she's from Lisbon. Is there a similar figure that we should know about as the Queen or King, indeed, of Fado from Coimbra?
If it's Fado of Coimbra, it should be a king. Okay. Because it starts by being men playing and singing. So it's a university tradition song. Some people disagree that we should call it Fado. They call it Canção de Coimbra. That is how that's how it was called first, but it uses a Portuguese guitar, so it's Fado.
Quite clear about that.
And so it started actually only with mostly guitar playing, and then the voice started being added to the songs. Obviously, I needed to mention Artur Paredes and Carlos Paredes. Okay. So the Paredes family. They were like the genius of the Portuguese guitar of Coimbra. The guitar is also different, by the way. It's not only the way they sing. The guitar is built differently, and it sounds different as well. And so, Carlos Paredes and Artur Paredes, his father.
All right. Well, what we'll do, we have a radio show on a Monday evening. We do Good Evening Portugal as well as Good Morning Portugal. So on our radio show next Monday, I will feature that family, that Fado family, and go more into the politics of Fado. I didn't realize it was such a controversial thing.
Yeah, it is. And some people still disagree. Some students don't like the idea that their song is being sold as Fado, and they don't like it to be sold in general, because they think it should stay within the let's say the womb of the university. But obviously people should know about it. It's a part of our culture. It's a World Heritage thing now. It's part of our intangible heritage.
Of course.
So it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. We get a few hellos coming in. Any questions for Sarah? Just pop them in the comments about Coimbra specifically. But obviously, Sarah knows so much more about Portugal than all of us put together. So any general questions about Portugal, I imagine she'd be happy to have a go at those as well. Bon dia todos. A bit late, but a bright start today in Manchester. Quite incredible weather in Manchester from your reports, Claire and Steve. Also, hello from Veronica McCluskey. Owen's been doing his homework. Varal, that is right. That is the word for summer. Or what is the word for autumn that we're moving into? Veronica says, apparently, oh, you got a proper coffee there, Sarah. That's excellent. I'm drinking British tea. I'm going to have to make this transition at some point, aren't I? What a beautiful well. How lovely.
It's typical. Actually, this is usually made in fabric. It's also sold in fabric in Viana do Castelo.
Oh, fantastic.
In the north. Yeah.
Got to as well. That's also on our list. Veronica says, apparently I'm a top fan. Does that mean I get my name in the next two, Sue? Yes. Do I get to know the secret handshake? Yes. Money off in shops? Not yet. But who knows? We might have a Good Morning Portugal discount card or club one of these days. And to think my teacher said I'd never reach the top in anything. Well, there you go, Veronica. Glad to have been of service there. And she also adds that she loves the Coimbra fado as well. So that's good to know. Okay, so let's have a look at your offering here, Sarah. I just think it's such a beautiful city, Coimbra. You got to go there. I mean, traditionally the tourist tour is in, traditionally people are flying into Lisboa and then flying out of Porto and maybe having a day or two in each of those. But they really must go to Coimbra. This is, of course, I need to check this with you. Now I've got you here. Originally a capital city of Portugal at some point.
Yes, Coimbra was the first capital of Portugal in medieval ages. During the life of the first and the second kings of Portugal, which are actually buried here in Santa Cruz Monastery. And it was a really important city throughout medieval times. Nowadays, it's a city of passage between Lisbon and Porto. I didn't want that to be like that, so that's why I created the tours, and that's why I started also broadening my offers to often full-day tours out of here. Because I wanted people to stay here for a few nights and do different things in central Portugal, which is a really big region. And usually they would travel between south and north and just pass by a few hours and go away.
Oh, I love what you're doing then. So you want to get those people here to central Portugal and have them stay a little bit longer. So what other tours have you got? Could you tell us a little bit about your Barada Tour and others? I mean, obviously, I'm asking you about the Barada Tour because there are a lot of people here who are part of our wine club and are interested in that part of the culture. Henry is one of them. He is still inebriated, not even sure he went to bed after the wine club. He's really not. It's not helping with British stereotypes of drinking, unfortunately, Henry. Yes, and Gary's saying Nina and Henry tut. So yes, your Barada Tour. What does that look like, Sarah?
Yes, so it's a full-day tour. It's a slow-paced tour, considering it also has some wine in the middle. And so I pick up people wherever they are in the morning. And we go to Barada. We drive through the countryside so they can see some villages and also learn actually a little bit about the growth of Coimbra. Because we live through the north parts of the city, through factories that existed before and everything. And then when we get to Barada, we go to see the vineyards. We stop in Coimbra, which is a very beautiful village where we go for a walk. We visit the Barada Center there, which is in the train center. They have a welcome center with lots of kinds of wine and sparkling wine and rosé and so on. And then we go see the park of Coimbra. We go to some cellars, visit Aliança cellars, which they have. It's an underground museum. It's more there than some cellars, because it's lots of works of art that are there. It's a very big collection and very vast as well and different. And then we have some typical lunch in the local restaurants, and in the afternoon we go a little further northwest to Vista Alegre factory, which is the biggest porcelain factory and the biggest manufacturer of porcelain in the world. They manufacture 6 million pieces of porcelain a year. Yeah.
Who knew?
All hand painted.
Amazing, amazing. And these are more well-kept secrets. I mean,
Yeah.
this could be Portugal's strapline, isn't it? Like the best kept secret in the world. And then you keep discovering things like this. I had no idea. I didn't really know about. I mean, you kind of get an idea that cork, comes from Portugal, and wine and the food and so on. But then shoes, I didn't know about the shoe industry. And now you're telling us about the porcelain industry, biggest exporter in the world, 6 million pieces. This is up near Aveiro, yeah? Ilhavo, is that right?
Yes, it's right on the side of Aveiro in Ilhavo. So it's between Aveiro and the ocean. It's actually quite beautiful.
Incredible, incredible. Okay, so before we move to a question that we have for you, the palavra do dia today for your vocabulary is vindima, because it is harvest time for the wine. Sarah was telling me earlier on that you used to work for your uncle in the family wine production and grape picking.
Yes. So my uncle has a few vineyards in Barada, in a village called Torres.
Okay.
And I used to go there in the summer before going back to school. So school would start later on. We were chatting about that.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? They changed the school start time to suit the grape picking, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
Did you enjoy it as a child?
I would love it because we would take some snacks to eat. People would sing. They would sing traditional songs.
Oh, wonderful.
It was very beautiful. It was hard work and it was really hot usually. Yeah, but I would love it. I would love doing that again. But things are a little bit less humane, let's say, because nowadays people don't pick most of the grapes by hand. They do it with a little truck.
Yeah. Okay, so the word of the day then for your vocabulary, vindima, which refers to the wine harvest. Talk a little bit more about that later on. Huge production of marble in Portugal also. Incredible. Thank you for that, Gary. We have a question then specifically about Coimbra. Owen says, I visited Coimbra. I love the King's Gate. Can Sarah tell us more about that?
So I don't know exactly what King's Gate with that name, but I suppose it's the Almedina gate of entrance to the city.
Okay.
So it has a huge tower of defense near the main pedestrian street called Ferreira Borges, and it has 2 arches of entrance inside the city walls. The walls are quite visible nowadays still. We can even see a moat that used to exist, but it's not on the street. It's secretly inside a building. But we can go to that building because it's free of entrance and see the moat. And then it takes you to Quebra-Costas Street, which is kind of a very steep street with lots of steps going up. A little scary to look at it. We can go around. We don't have to go up. And since you have a wine club, probably you'll understand this. There's lots of bars on top of the steps. So Quebra-Costas means backbreaker street. That's the name of the street. Yeah. The students go to the bars at night and then they have to walk down to go back home. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So I think that's the gate he was mentioning. It's really beautiful.
Superb. Okay, so just a couple more things before you go on your way there today. Are you touring today and this weekend?
No, it's been quite quiet lately.
Let's see if we can change that for you. So I guess the pandemic, it hasn't helped with this, right?
No, not at all. No, I had lots of international travelers. And lots of American travelers, people from Canada, Australia, Central Europe. And so I've been working like I do 1-2 tours per week.
Yeah.
And so it's been really, really quiet, but I've been working a lot on our new YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
So I cannot call myself a YouTuber because I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet.
Same here, same here.
Yeah, but I'm working on that. I make available virtual tours there.
Oh, brilliant.
So you were mentioning the Riverside tour, and I just did a virtual tour about Pedro and Inês, which are our Portuguese Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, fantastic.
And tonight at 9 p.m. Portugal. So I'm going to publish the second part of that virtual tour, so you can go and check it out.
Brilliant.
And so I've been busy, and that's what's been keeping me sane with all this COVID craziness.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the least we can do for you, please, folks, go and subscribe to Sarah's YouTube channel so that we can make her an official YouTuber with 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Same here for Good Morning Portugal. I'm on about 650 at the moment, Sarah. Where are you at the moment?
Oh, I'm only at like 100 something. I started the channel 2 months ago.
The least we can do is support you with that. So please go over to Sarah's channel. Maybe you put the link for that, or I will in the comments here later on today. And let's get booked on these tours, because obviously it's not just for tourists and people flying in. Those folks, like the people in the Good Morning Portugal community, who might like just a nice day out in Coimbra or surrounding Coimbra, can hire you. I think your prices are amazing, really good value. And that obviously takes some quite working out, you know, the right price point to make it worthwhile for you and to make it attractive to the customer. We got some, oh yeah, Alan Kerrigan saying, what's your channel name? That would be helpful, Sarah. So what's it called on YouTube?
It's Go Walks Portugal.
Go Walk Portugal. Okay, a little bit like we've got in the screen share that we're doing there. Yeah. Go Walks Portugal, Coimbra Walking Tours, and that's gowalksportugal.com if you want to go ahead and make a booking with Sarah. Let's just have a quick look at Pete. Hi, good morning, Pete. My favorite parts of Coimbra are the old back streets in downtown and the main market. So many good places to eat too. Sarah, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you about your favorite restaurant recommendation in just a moment. But Sunny also asked, is there a historical park for children in Coimbra? There's that kind of miniature garden. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, it was my kindergarten, so I know it quite well.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
It's called Portugal dos Pequenitos, so Portugal for the little ones.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, it represents Portugal in a small scale. So we have a small University of Coimbra there, but we have all main monuments of Portugal there, and traditional houses from the different regions, and also one building per colony that we used to have, so people can learn a little bit more about the history of Portugal. And it's amazing. I actually think it's my passion for history came from there.
Yeah. And you go over the bridge, don't you? The bridge near the central station, and it's got 2 life-size toy soldiers outside. Is that the park?
Exactly. Yeah, it's that one, and some red kind of towers on the side. Yeah, it's that park. It's beautiful. It's the second most visited thing after the university, and they have more than 500,000 visitors per year.
Wow.
And lots of people associated with children. Coimbra is beautiful. If people come here with their children, it's an amazing town. It has lots of things to do with them. We have Exploratório, which is an interactive sciences museum as well, near the city park. There's lots of picnic areas. There's activities to do in the river with them. And so it's amazing for families. But Portugal dos Pequenitos is not only for children, but adults will love it too. The only thing, which is a challenge, is that the houses are very, very small. And usually people like to enter in them because you can enter and look through the window and try to climb the stairs, but it's really, really small. So either you're very thin and you can fit there, or you'll have a problem going in and out, but you can try. It's funny too.
Oh, fantastic. So presumably occasionally the bomberos have to go there and rescue Scandinavians who are stuck in the little houses from time to time. Okay.
Yeah.
Penny says, I've subscribed to your YouTube channel, Sarah.
Thank you, Penny.
Alan has as well. I'll do that later on. And yeah, let's see what we could do to tell a friend about what Sarah does. So last and probably quite a difficult question. I don't know, or maybe you won't think so, but I'm going to Coimbra on Sunday evening. Where would you recommend to eat not far from the station? Because that's the other great thing about Coimbra. If you go by train, everything is very accessible, isn't it, from Central Station? So what would you recommend as a good restaurant for Sunday?
Okay, so I actually did some partnerships with restaurants in the city center that I actually love a lot. And the closest one to the train station that I have partnership with is called Fangas. It's not fungus, okay? It's Fangas. Fangas.
Oh, Fangas. Okay, not fungus. That's
because the street was called Rua das Fangas. Fangas was it was a measurement like deal. So before people would sell in like grains and everything, and you would take. It was very ecological. You would take your own packages and fill them, and then they would weight them. And Fangas is that. It's like the act of measuring the weight and everything, and then they would sell like.
All right. And that's the restaurant you'd recommend near the station, Fangas?
Yes. And then there's also, if you want some cheese, wine, some tapas maybe, we have a partnership with, oh, by the way, if you subscribe to the tours, you have 10% discount in these restaurants. So,
yeah. Okay.
Kind of the deal with them. And it's called Quesadilla Cuimbra. So for cheese lovers, it's a must, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
They now have tables outside on the street, so it's really nice. And actually, where they have the tables is in the square in front of Santa Cruz Church. It's a beautiful square with a beautiful 12th century church. So it's really amazing just sitting there in the evening and drinking a glass of wine and eating some cheese and some jams as well with bread and appreciating the monuments. And then further away in Sophia Street, near Sophia Street, which is also a World Heritage Street, we have Duke's restaurant, and they're really good for wines as well. They are kind of specialized in that. And they have meals as well.
Did you say Duke's? D-U-K? Yeah. That?
Dux, D-U-X.
Okay. Okay. Brilliant information. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. So a few more comments before you go, if you will. Ty says the Coimbra tours is something we've considered, but on a limited budget, something we need to save for maybe next year. So there you've got some customers to look forward to in 2021. Janny in Belgium has subscribed. We've got you a few more subscribers at least.
Yay.
Claire and Steve over in Manchester in the UK at the moment. We'll look you up, Sarah, when we get back to Portugal. It was too hot in Coimbra when we were nearby earlier in the year. We would be interested in tours. Could we take our 2 spaniels on a tour? Is that possible? Can you tailor one for those guys and dogs?
Yes, of course. I love animals, so you can bring all your animals.
All your animals. So when Ty and Joe come, they'll be bringing parrots and kittens and all sorts with them. That should be fun. And you'll have other tourists taking pictures of you. Sarah, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add before you go that we should know about you?
Well, the only thing I would ask people is if they come to Portugal, consider staying in Coimbra and traveling in central Portugal as well, instead of just Lisbon and Porto, because it's such an amazing region. And if you want, you can go check the videos that I'm putting on YouTube, because I'm not doing only the virtual tours. I'm doing vlogs about places that are a little bit more secluded, Eden, that people should know about, and I will obviously continue doing that. If you have something you want to know about, you can let me know, and I'll try to cover that on my vlogs and everything. And stay tuned. I love talking to people, and that's why I also do this kind of work. knowing people from all around the world and exchanging ideas and everything. So if you're around, even if it's just to drink a coffee, let me know.
Oh, fantastic. And I guess if people really get to know you, you might sing for them as well on one of the tours. Just another quick question. Does Sarah do an evening tour for food and drink?
Well, we don't have a theme tour in the evening for food and drinks, but we do tailor tours to people. So if people want to customize tour that we take them to specific places, we can adapt to the things that they prefer. We're completely flexible on doing that. So yes, it's possible to do an evening food and drink tour.
Fantastic. Yeah, of course, because you go off piste and do a tailored tour to suit people, right? So
Yeah.
those big budget American tourists, they might book you for days on end, presumably.
Sometimes, yes. I also work with Americans. There's a specific market that is kind of the high-end market, and they come with a driver. We take them to the monuments and everything. We were used to do that as well. So when it comes to customized tours, I'm really, really used to it. And because I like doing different things, for me, it's perfect because it's more creative than just doing the same tours all over again. But I actually love doing it. And because we have so much offer and so many different tours, we're not constantly doing the same thing. So we don't sound like a broken record, which unfortunately happens with some guides because they're always doing the same thing. So it's always very exciting for us to guide people.
Brilliant. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us this morning. GoWalksPortugal.com, is that right? .com?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure, as Sarah says there, really good point, don't just go to Lisbon and Porto, go to Central Portugal as well, check out Coimbra and book Sarah for a cruise. I was going to say for a cruise, for a tour, for a tour of Coimbra. You'll be an excellent handler. Thank you so much. Bon fin de semana to you.
Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao. Wonderful. Sarah Cruz there, and GoWalksPortugal.com. I'm going to stick around for a bit longer because there were some other things I wanted to share with you. If you've got any more questions for Sarah, I'm sure we can get those to her. And there are a few more questions coming in and comments. This is probably one for the dog owners who are already here. Do restaurants in Portugal welcome dogs? We have 3. Obviously, for the al fresco, you're going to be fine, I think. I saw a very burly chap in my local town with a lovely little toy dog on his lap whilst he was having dinner. I thought that's very Parisian, and this was in Anadia. Possibility of a Good Morning Portugal discount for a group outing. He drives a hard bargain, but he's on a retirement budget, is Ty. So maybe we can talk to Sarah about that as well. Can you stay overnight in the city with a van? Better after the wine. I'll let other people answer that in the comments, but my experience is that although the wild camping is being cracked down upon a little bit in the south, people are really easygoing in Portugal, and I think as long as you don't, Jani, I don't think you're going to be getting out of hand and being a public nuisance. I'm sure if you stay overnight in your van by the river there, you'll be absolutely fine, and you'll be snoring like a trooper as well after some. What did she say? Conimbrience experience, and she's laughing at me from the green room now, and so she should. Okay, so I spared you this news, but we have to talk about. We don't have to, but I do. I'm trying to strike a balance in keeping people informed about what's going on, as well as doing the lovely stuff like talking to Sarah. Sky News has the latest on the holidaymakers who have been left totally confused. Oh yeah, sorry. I thought I'd crashed the show again with this. This is weird. It hasn't crashed, but it won't give me the screen I want. Let me just try that again. Coronavirus. Here we go. Do excuse me. Coughing on you like that. This is Sky News. Coronavirus holidaymakers left totally confused. UK divided over Portugal quarantine rules. In case you didn't know, one mum who forked out £900. British pounds for earlier flights home says the government just changed the goalposts left, right and centre. So it looks like holidaymakers and industry leaders have criticised the government after Wales and Scotland have reimposed quarantine restrictions on Portugal, and while we're about it, Greece, while England and Northern Ireland did not make any changes. The nations made different decisions at the weekly point when the coronavirus quarantine lists are normally updated. So who knows? Grant Shapps might just be waiting a few hours. There was speculation about what would happen to Portugal given COVID-19 cases here rose to 23 per 100,000 people in the 7 days up to Wednesday, up from 15.3 a week earlier. In the scheme of things, and 100,000 per 100,000 people, a rise like that, I know they've got to pick a threshold and it's probably 20, but really, come on. This is getting so serious now with people's lives and livelihoods. That just seems like an unfair and punishing decision to me. And hopefully, it's good that it's not good that there's confusion, but I think it's good that so far England hasn't taken that decision. But the government is now under fire, apparently, according to Sky, for failing to provide clarity on the move. A government failing to provide clarity. Fancy that. With travel industry leaders saying tourists have been left totally confused by the separate approaches. Rory Boland, editor of Which Travel, said ministers offered no clarity around how these decisions are made and accused them of ignoring the growing evidence suggesting this system is not working. I know Gary Austin in our community has something to say about that and has suggested the Austin Index of COVID impact. If the government is serious about letting international travel resume while prioritising public health, a major reassessment of its approach is needed, he added. That's Rory Boland, editor of Which. So there you go. That just brings you up to date on the lack of clarity, which obviously isn't a very clear thing. Other thing I wanted to share with you before I disappear today and go off for a bon fin de semana. I think that's Jimmy Choo, the Good Morning Portugal puppy, has just burst through the door. He's a funny so-and-so, he really is. Let's have a look at the Harvest Festival 2020. Your word of the day is Vindima. It's playing up. It's not letting me share. I'm going to try that one more time. Vindima, wine harvest. Very important in Portuguese culture, obviously. Festa. There we go. Festa das Vindimas 2020 in Portugal. And I'll stop reading in Portuguese. I don't want to confuse or upset anybody. When I say that, I don't want to confuse the foreigners and I don't want to upset Portuguese people by reading Portuguese. The Harvest Festival is a popular Portuguese festival. Some cities have their own harvest festivals, such as the Visua Festival, one of the largest and most traditional in Portugal, which we will discuss here. Just very briefly. Vindima means the grape harvest with a view to wine production. At the Harvest Festival, there are both wine tasting and purchase activities, as you might expect, as well as tours on local farms where products are made. However, the party also features music and gastronomy events, valuing local production, being an attraction of the city. And this is referring specifically to the Visua Harvest Festival, which, of course, like everything else, like Sarah was saying, has been affected by the pandemic. It has been taking place since 2014 in Visua, always at the end of September, in the penultimate week of the month. So that's to look forward to. And it's therefore expected that the 2020 edition of the Visua Harvest Festival will take place at a similar period between 17th and 20th of September. They say here, I'm looking at Eventus20.com. Worth remembering, this is only a forecast, although it is unlikely since it is an already traditional party, always occurring in the same period. It's possible that the date will undergo some change. So check on that before you go. But there you go, lovely visual there. Festa das Vindimas in Visua this year. But check out a local vineyard near you. I'm sure you can get involved in the same way that Philomena was telling to us yesterday in Penella. You can go. She's invited everybody to go to Penella tomorrow and pick. I think the white grapes are the ones that are picked early in September, red grapes later on in the month. And wasn't it great in the days when children delayed going back to school so they could join in the grape harvest? Happy times, happy times. And I imagine that's the case in the smaller vineyards. We were invited to the Pateau vineyard last year and the kids loved it. I mean, obviously, the kids loved about 20 minutes of grape picking. And it's obviously much harder and longer work than that. But the idea of picking and singing songs together sounds awesome. Actually, I must get in touch with Luis Pateau because maybe there's a tasting due upon the wine that was from the grapes that were picked last year. Another notice to share with you before we go. Tomorrow, this came from Arwen. Do you remember Arwen, who we spoke to last week? The Aromáticos, I think, is the name that's being settled on for the new restaurant in Espinhal, in central Portugal. Singing the praises of central Portugal this morning. Penella mentioned, Espinhal mentioned, and she would like me to say, as an adjunct to that very popular interview that we did, would you give Aromáticos a shout out on your show tomorrow and Saturday morning? I'll be asleep this time tomorrow morning, I suspect, having a lie-in, but certainly today, no problem at all. When Paul from Village Kitchen, remember him, our mate Paul? So two of my favourite cooks here have been collaborating on fantastic food, which they will be selling at Brunel's, which I think is in Espinhal, isn't it? If not in Espinhal, then in Penella. You guys in central Portugal know where Brunel's is, I'm sure. That's at the fair this Saturday, tomorrow. Paul was the chef I was talking about. Yes, of course. Okay, that secret can now be revealed. He will be cooking our evening meals at Aromáticos. So there you go. The secret is out of the bag. It is Mr. Paul Ryan, who always sounds to me like a Hollywood actor. Mr. Paul Ryan. He'll be cooking. He's easy on the eye and he's fantastic in the kitchen. Mr. Paul Ryan, we've been working so hard this week, and I was hoping you can give us a mention on your show. Of course. Menu tomorrow. Pancakes of smoked duck, strawberry soy sauce. Oh, yum. Cucumber and spring onion wrapped in homemade Asian-style pancakes. Slow-cooked Asian barbecue pork, oriental vegetables wrapped in a homemade Asian-style pancake. Chicken, bacon, mushroom, and for the vegetarians, leek and potato pies. Those very popular pies are only €3. And vegetarian sausage rolls, spinach, blue cheese. Oh, I can't read any more of this because it's making me really hungry. But more of Paul's freshly made cherry jam donuts. My mouth is watering. And another treat for vegetarians, butternut squash, goat's cheese, and thyme pastry squares. Seriously, my mouth is watering. I'm going to stop. But a great day ahead at Brunel's tomorrow. Is that the Glocal Market? Is that what they call it there? Anyway, let's see if you have any more comments. Can we please see Jimmy Choo? I told you yesterday, didn't I, that I was thinking of changing his name from Jimmy Choo to Jimmy Poo because of an incident yesterday. And he's still not 100%. Jimmy, everybody wants to see you. Come here. Come on. Come on, say hello to everybody. Here. No, he's being a bit coy. Come on then. He's looking at me with his big puppy eyes, and I just think he's still a little bit subdued from whatever it was. You know, he's still very much in a voyage of discovery in his early age here, and I think he ate something that didn't agree with him. It didn't agree with me, I can tell you for sure. So Jimmy Choo, his picture is on the Facebook page. And I think that there is a demand here, isn't there, that we feature our animals more. I know on our Happy Homesteaders pages or in our group, people have been posting up pictures of their pets. And of course, Davina, who's just had her kittens in Alvazara, we're looking for more pictures of the kittens, please, Gary. So I think Jimmy Choo is being a little bit enigmatic and shy this morning. Yeah, he's just curled up. He just tucked his nose under his foot and he's gone back to sleep. So sorry, Wendy. I will keep trying. You know, he does like to be at my feet whilst we're doing the show here, so we will get him on another time. Belgium has put the whole of Spain red, testing and quarantine when you return. That's more on the news of traveling. And you know, some people have some pretty bad fears for second lockdown and as we go into autumn and winter, but fingers crossed we can keep flattening curves, as is the tradition here on Good Morning Portugal, and having my own Vindima in Brixham. I love that, Penny, that you have now used the word of Vindima in Brixham in Devon in the UK, picking my Pinot Noir and Chardonnay grapes. Get her with her Pinot Noir and Chardonnay grapes in Brixham and her estate there, the vineyard of Penny Albertella. I'm looking forward to an Albertella tasting at some point then, maybe on the Wine Club. And Pete comes to the rescue as ever. There is a large camper van park area across from the river in the old town of Coimbra near the Exploratoria. So there you go. Your question answered, Jenny, and you won't have to just park up on the street and have a police officer knock on the side of your van. And the last bit of news then, Dave has moved to next door. There we were, really worried about Dave, Davina, and her kittens, but we knew in our hearts, didn't we, that the intelligence of nature would be the happy ending to that story. And Davina is obviously your cat food is not of the standard required. So that mother and her kittens has moved to next door to get some better grub curry. See you tonight for the Expat Sport Report at 10 o'clock with the man like Frank Devane. That really is our transition from wishing you a bon fin de semana, from a weekend to a tight end. The man who knows about all such matters, that's Frank Devane on the Expat Sport Report tonight at 10. Have a bon fin de semana. Take care. Bye for now. Have a wonderful weekend. Te já, te próxima. Te breve. Te já. Ciao for now.